Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset. We're live and on the air. Our sponsor tonight is John Jones Real Estate. Going to roll over here in Rutherford County. I did not get a chance to visit with Coach Kevin Creasy today. Our normal time is today. Early in the day, I had another appointment that interfered. He was gracious enough to join us tonight on Inside the Headset via cellular phone, and I bring live and on the air. He's 5-0, and he's head coach of the Oakland Patriots, head coach Kevin Creasy. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing good, Stuart.
Thank you so much for joining us, and always a pleasure to talk to you. Big win last Friday night. You played the Siegel Stars and went over there and got a chance to get the program out. Came away with a big win, 38-0. Talk about it.
Yeah, pretty close at half. I think it was like 17-0, something like that. We scored right before the end of the half to get a 3-score lead. But, really wild night because the lights went out. I think it went out 3 or 4 times. And luckily it wasn't in the middle of the play, but right at the end of the play, one time it happened and refs got us together and we stalled the game and stopped it for about 15 minutes just to see if we could secure the lights. And I never really had that happen before. But I think it was going on at maybe Stewart's Creek as well. But, it was definitely something different.
Wow. I mean, so like right in the middle of the play, and they're LED lights, but the stadium went completely dark?
The stadium went completely dark. And, I mean, there were no concession stand lights. There were no school lights. Everything went out. And it luckily, like I said, it was the end of the plays. It was after the whistle was blown all 3 or 4 times that they went out. So then there was a worry about a possible safety issue. So I think they did the right thing. They called a halt to the game and then, got some reassurances that things were going to be okay. But it was pretty cool because when the lights went out, the stadium went loud and both student sections, pulled out their phone. It was kind of like they were at a concert and turned on the lights on their phones. It was pretty neat, but definitely got things out of the groove of normality, and it was a little different.
And as you would say, they had to deal with it, you had to deal with it, and at that point, that gets into the type of team you really got. And I was talking to the faculty and staff when we were on the Huntington trip about how good of kids you've got playing for you right now at Oakland High School, that they're well mannered. I guess when that happened, what'd you do? Just gather them over there on the sideline, just tell everybody to sit down, but stay stretched, or what was the idea? Because you got to watch what you're doing. So you all did.
Yeah. I think we pretty much just kind of watered everybody up, got them under the tent. We have the sideline replay systems, so we watched a few plays. But the biggest thing was we got a compliment from the refs, us and Siegel. The white hat told us, this has happened 3-4 times, and every time there's not been any single, jawing going on. There hadn't been any late hits. There hadn't been any, dirty stuff. Both teams, respectful, helping each other up, laughing about it. Ultimately it was, kind of a compliment to our kids and Siegel's kids, because, like I said, there was chances and opportunities for, some dirty play, cheap shots, but none of that happened.
Well, and thank goodness the baseball team wasn't involved, because they're creating more right now than a lot of people understand right now. And they're a ruthless bunch, that baseball team is. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Able to come away with a win. You're at 5-0 and able to get your, where are you on your quarterback situation? I saw you week 2. Let's talk about that. Your offensive side of the ball. You got a freshman kid, then you got the junior there. And how's that going along? How are they progressing?
Oh, yeah. Both of them doing really well. Real curious to see how they do against Whiten's defense. Definitely the best defense we've seen all year. And, both of them have swapped in and out every single play. And I think it's one of those deals where we got us a good little healthy competition between the quarterbacks and, look to see who comes out on top of this thing. If there's no difference between the two of them, we'll just keep both of them playing. But, if one surpasses the other, got the hot hand, then we'll go that route. But, Nothing wrong with having two quarterbacks. At the end of the day, the only loss we had last year was to Ravenwood, who played two quarterbacks, and both were different, but both very effective. And it was kind of like you had to get two game plans together because one quarterback was really good at running, one was really good at throwing. The good part about both of ours is they're both really good at running and throwing. So you got dual threat quarterbacks, and definitely change things up and make things a little different on the defense whenever they got guys that can throw it and run it playing quarterback.
What do you like coaching about this bunch? You've been here in Rutherford County since 2015. I mean, what do you like about this group of Oakland Patriots? What stands out about them most of all that you're already seeing in the first 5 games of this group?
Yeah, I love how they fly around the ball on defense. I think the defense is kind of playing with a lot of passion and doing a good job of trying to take some pride in shutting some people out and all that stuff. But, like you were talking about, some of our people that followed us up to Kentucky to watch us play, they're right. This group of kids, man, we've got some really good guys. I mean, really good dudes on this team. And there's no real problems, knock on wood. But these guys, they really get along with each other. They don't give you any trouble in school. They don't give you any trouble out on the, the streets of Murfreesboro or what have you. So, real lucky so far. And I just think they've, kind of kids have been raised right. And we're kind of reaping the benefits of what some parents have done, raising these kids up.
The kids have set this thing up, the kids of Blackman and the kids of Oakland. You're both sitting at 5-0. You two coaches and everything, and you got to trade with Coach Creasy, and the Creasy boys well. You coached them when they were at Henry County and everything. What do you like about Matt's team other than, gosh, the first thing that jumps out is I look down the roster and everything, and I those names have been there, Coach, 2 and 3 years. They've got a lot of experience that's going to be flying around on that side of the ball. You got the Dragoos of the world. He's been there a while. The Kemp kid's been there a while. They got a lot. Borum Bozen's been there a while. They're going to have some experience on that side of the ball.
Yeah, you talk about Borum Bozen, one of the best kickers, not just in the region, but the whole state. His dad used to be our kicking coach, so we hated to lose him, but I think he could throw a rock from his house and hit Blackman High School, so probably walks to work every day. Like I said, he's a big loss for us and a big pickup for Blackman. I think he also is coaching soccer over there, but you look at their defense, I think they're giving up, I don't know, maybe 6 points a game, something like that. They gave fits to Riverdale. They had a lot of big plays. They caused a lot of turnovers. They have a lot of big hits. They have a lot of sacks. And like I said, they do a great job. And a lot of those guys are juniors. But like I said, the ones that are seniors, they've been in the program for a long time. They've done a good job of getting this thing going the right way. Matt has come in just 3 years ago, and, he's built this thing up from the ground up, and, probably should have beat us last year. And that's pretty good for just being there for 2 years. And then now he's here the 3rd year, and he's looking to win the region. Like I said, he's had some guys that have left the program, been courted by other schools, and, went maybe to the Division, Division 2 or whatever it's called, where they're playing in the private school leagues, so he's had some really good ones depart, and he's never made any excuses and never wavered from what he believed in. And, they kind of take a reflection of the way he was as a player, good defensive player back in the day, just hard-nosed, gritty, and plays with a lot of fire. So that's really what their team's doing, and I'm sure they'll be ready to play Friday.
You know what? That's funny you mentioned that. He wasn't a crybaby, was he? If he got the hell knocked out of him, he got back up, didn't he?
He did. I'm telling you now, he was tough, and, Will was too. Those two guys weighing in about 155, 165 pounds, playing linebacker at the highest classification back in the day. Henry County was in the highest classification, playing some really tough teams, and those dudes, man, they were raised tough. You know, their dad was a football coach, and they were always kind of like gym rats, hanging around the field house their whole life. So they've been around it. They saw what, good football programs were, and saw what good football players did, and yeah, just always tough kids, and always worked hard. And so, I'm proud of both of them. I've always said that they're my big rivals. Both of them are, but they've worked for everything they got. And I remember both of them getting their first jobs and low man on the totem pole, and now they've worked their way up. And both have really good jobs here in Murfreesboro.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, Coach, you've been in this match. Like I said, you've been in this game. I mean, I don't know how many times. It's probably, like you said, you've coached. Sometimes you play in it twice a year. So it's well over, it's cresting on over 20 times you've played this football game, the Oakland versus Blackman. What makes it special other than, we're all right here and we all know each other? Is it just because no matter what the records are, but usually both of you are at the top? It's just a great football game, isn't it, for 48 minutes?
Yeah, it's always good when Blackman, Riverdale, and Oakland are all good, and we're all in the same region. I think that's the case this year, and you can't sleep on anybody else in the region too. There's a lot of guys clawing, for playoff position. Still just week 6, so it's still kind of early to figure out who's going where and doing what. But, I think Blackman, just watching them on film, definitely one of the top teams in the region, top teams in the mid-state. So you got to give them props. And so, I mean, it's good for the fans. Anytime that Riverdale, Blackman, and Oakland are all good at the same time, it's great for the fans. And like I said, I expect Blackman to make a ton of money Friday night. There's going to be a big crowd there, lots of popcorn, soft drinks sold there. So it's going to be one of those deals where we're both coming in undefeated, and that's exactly what our community deserves. That's the kind of ball game where two teams are undefeated and getting a matchup early in the regular season, I think week 6.
Coach, I can't thank you enough for being on Inside the Headset tonight and joining us and giving the fans a little something as we get ready to head over to the Inferno here. Tomorrow's Thursday, and then we'll be there Friday night at 7 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing the Oakland Patriots and seeing what you got to bring to the table.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. See you.